that the top 6 are all the same. Then I'll read like 7 through 15, or you read 17 through 20. And then we will mention very quickly that Sean Eichhorst is out and Dave Remington is now in.
Right.
I have on no makeup, but nobody cares. I hope I look okay today. I don't feel like I look very pretty today, but it's okay. It's kind of an overcast day.
Just make sure that this is still connected.
It's the Wi-Fi off. I'm sorry about that, Angel. She just doesn't listen.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, folks. Welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He is a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I'm enthusiastic because we are in the heart of college football season.
Yes, we are.
And there's some good things that happened for our Huskers, so we'll get into that too.
Yes. Well, we're going to talk about our picks that we went through this last weekend.
Yes.
There's some movement within the top 25 in the AP and the USA Today polls as well, so we're going to talk about that.
And then some Huskers.
And then we've got some Husker news that we definitely need to bring up because as we've talked about throughout this whole summer and even onto last year, there are some teams right now, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Nebraska, Texas, etc. There are some teams out there that require high level of winning, and the tradition is so rich. Exactly, coaching, and so they have to be up there in the rankings. And so we're going to talk. That's why, not just because we're Husker fans, but Nebraska is one of those elite programs.
But we also happen to be K-Staters because you played football at K-State under Hall of Fame coach Bill Snyder.
Yes.
So we're very blessed that way.
And we love college football. And so even when teams like a Miami or
when
even
Alabama was down.
Yes, Alabama, USC,
when
Michigan
Michigan
they've had
very
their
recently
struggles.
was
Yes,
down.
Michigan, exactly.
We don't want to see historic teams down in the dumps.
And it's always kind of cool to see the underdog team. You know, every year there's a couple
the Western
teams.
Michigan team.
Yeah, or
Houston making a
kind
run.
of a offshoot team that's like, hey, this is a strong squad and their coach has got them fired up and they're playing good. Yeah, you always want to root for those teams, but you also want to see tradition continue to stay strong and alive. And so it's you got
that what college football is all about? Is really tradition.
It is
homecoming, the band, the tradition,
rival
is what
games.
That's about exactly.
Sellouts, people tailgating, people wearing their colors,
people coming back.
Exactly.
Coming home.
Exactly.
That's what the tradition is really about. That. Well, you know what's become a tradition is we do picks, and now we've expanded our picks to 10 games a week.
Right.
Because somebody went 0-4. And somebody went 2-2. But this week, Adam beat me. He went 8-2 of our 10-game pick, and I went 7-3. So shall we just jump right in and talk about those? All right. Well, we had Texas A&M and Arkansas. Adam picked A&M. I picked Arkansas.
Yes.
A&M won.
Yes.
We also had Michigan versus Notre Dame. You and I both picked Notre Dame. Notre Dame won.
Michigan State, yes.
Michigan State, rather.
Yes.
Michigan State, Notre Dame, and Notre Dame won. Then you had UCLA and Stanford.
Correct.
We both picked UCLA, and Stanford won pretty handily.
Yes, they did.
Texas Tech and Houston. We both picked Texas Tech. Texas Tech won. And then San Diego State at Air Force. We both picked Air Force because that nice triple option. I'm not a believer in San Diego State, but San Diego State won.
Yes.
Go ahead and do the other 5.
And then we had Florida and Kentucky. We both picked Florida, but I said Kentucky was going to give them all if they could handle as a rival game, but Florida didn't end up pulling it out close.
By 1 point.
Again, another week where Florida is barely getting through. Mississippi State, Georgia, we both picked Georgia in that one. Georgia won. Then we had Michigan versus Purdue. We both said that was kind of another trippy up, close battle game, which it was.
Certainly through the first half.
Michigan barely won that one as well. Then we had USC Cal. We both picked USC, but we also called that one could maybe be a trippy up game. USC pulled it out. Then we had Penn State and Iowa. Another one of those. Watch it.
I almost picked Iowa. I was close.
Well, when it's at home for Iowa and Iowa City, those fans are loud and crazy. It's hard to pick against them.
It was a good game.
But it was a really good game. We did both pick Penn State, and Penn State won.
So again, Adam was 8-2. I was 7-3 this week. Shall we just go through the top 25 and then end with Nebraska?
Sure, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Why don't you jump in there?
All right. So for the AP top 25 here, okay, Alabama's number 1, Clemson's number 2, Oklahoma's number 3, Penn State is number 4, USC is number 5. Washington's number 6. We've got Georgia number 7. Michigan number 8, TCU at number 9, and then Wisconsin at number 10. And those are pretty much the same of kind of what they were last week.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of movement in the AP top 10. Well, then number 11 is Ohio State. Number 12 is Tech. Number 13 is Auburn. Number 14, they have Miami. 15, they have Oklahoma State. 16, they have Washington State. 17, they have Louisville. 18, they have University of South Florida. 19, San Diego State. And 20, they have Utah.
Right, and then to round it out, we got Florida at 21, Notre Dame at 22, West Virginia at 23, Mississippi State at 24, and LSU 25.
And they have Florida State
and then Florida State is out. Now, this is just for the AP top 25.
But I always think it's interesting because then you go to the USA Today poll, and their top 6, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Penn State, USC, and Washington State are the same. But then it gets a little different. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. UW.
Yes.
UW it's a little bit, those are all the same.
Yeah, those are the same. Yeah.
7 and on, it gets a little different.
It gets a little different. And we kind of need to mention these because it is interesting how USA Today has these guys rated at this point.
Jump on in there.
Well, we have 7 with Michigan. Georgia's number 8. Ohio State's number 9. TCU is 11. Then you got Miami at 13, and some of them are skipped because they have the same teams across the board.
They have number 10. It's the same for both teams at Wisconsin.
Oklahoma State is 14. Auburn is 15. You've got South Florida at 17, and then Louisville 18, and then you've got Utah at 19.
And then they have their number 20 team being Florida, their number 21 team being San Diego State, number 22 being LSU, and then number 25 being Florida State.
Right.
USA Today has Notre Dame out.
Right.
So basically, Florida State and Notre Dame are both kind of hanging at the bottom of the top 25.
Right.
Now, obviously, they rank all the teams. You go up to number, top 50, top 100, whatever. But really, when you're talking about good bowl games, and certainly if you're talking about being in the Final Four of the national championship, these rankings do matter, and you've got to be moving upwards.
And I think I heard somebody say, I think we were watching one of the games, one of the analysts was talking about the rankings and stuff. Some people, it's like, hey, it's not the end of the world, but with nowadays, now that we do have a playoff system, it is important to try to stay ranked as long as you possibly can. You want to win. You want to go as far and as deep as you can in these rankings because it does start to really add up.
Oh, it really does. Yeah. And when you're talking about the bowl games you go to, that's money.
Yes.
That's your fan base traveling.
Revenue,
that's your recruiting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Your bowl games, which we need to get into this at some point because people were sitting out bowl games last year. We thought, is this going to be an epidemic? It really isn't. Because at the end of the day, that's a really important reward for a lot of your players.
Yes, it is.
But it's also an important future recruiting tool for your coaches and your program.
Right.
Being able to say, we go to bowl games and which bowl games you go to. So getting these rankings, it does matter.
Yeah.
Now, in week 3 or 4, is that the end all be all? Only I think if you're hanging on that 15 to 25 rung, you need to get up in there.
Yeah, exactly. If you're still hanging around 18 to 16 to 14-ish maybe, you want to try to crack up in there in the 12, 10, 9, 8 range if you can. You want to start moving up. You want to start winning the big games if you can. You want to start really being the top tier team in your conference at this point in time because now you have kind of got through your weaker opponents.
Right.
Some teams have. Sometimes
people should be into conference.
Now in the SEC, what you do see these last couple of years, a lot of the SEC teams play their harder teams early, and then by like week 8 or 9, you
they
see
get a little
them play.
Cupcake in there.
They play like
now I want a cupcake.
Well, yeah, you'll see like Old Dominion. No offense to Old Dominion, but you'll see like an Old Dominion or Coastal Carolina on the schedule at like week 7 or 8 versus week 2 or 3.
Right.
Just those are things to think about when you're trying to get up there.
Well, and to me, if you're hanging around 28, 29, and you want to try to go to a decent bowl game, you need to do some winning.
Yeah,
these polls start to matter in there.
It does, right.
Well, let's think about people who aren't doing the right kind of winning right now.
Yes, exactly.
Wait a minute. Husker Nation.
Yes.
We did a whole thing, and it was on Facebook Live.
Correct.
About what we felt like was wrong with the Huskers. Obviously, as we've said many times, Adam played at K-State under the great gentleman himself, Bill Snyder. But our family are generational Huskers.
Yes.
My uncle, your great uncle, Joe Orduna, played for Bob Devaney on the national championship team. He is in the Hall of Fame there.
Yes.
My brother, your uncle, Matt Orduna, played under Tom Osborne. We've got his Orange Bowl jerseys. You were highly recruited by Nebraska. My dad, his other brother, they all played there.
Yes.
We have a long-standing tradition there. We are from the state of Nebraska,
yes.
though now we live in the great Kansas City area.
Yes.
It was important to us.
Right.
And it's not going the right direction. And what happened?
Well, there was a huge blow up after the Northern Illinois loss at home in Lincoln. And Sean Eichhorst, who was at the time the athletic director, came out and made a statement about how angry and upset he was and that this wasn't what he had in mind when it came to how Nebraska football was supposed to be going. Well, turns out that statement didn't give him very much leverage because he ended up getting fired the next day after we had our Facebook Live show about how to fix the Nebraska Cornhuskers football program. He was let go the following day. And so what they did was they said, all right, well, let's get through Rutgers, which we barely got through Rutgers.
And
we
that
did
was
win.
ugly.
Yes,
ugly.
it
the
was very
whole
ugly.
First half.
Don't know how we even made it through that one.
Ugly.
But we did. We ended up getting a win, so we're 2-2 right now. But Nebraska said, we need to get back to our roots. They went and got Dave Remington, who has been the chairman for the Boomer Esiason committee in New York since 1995, and now he is taking place of the athletic director position.
Do you still have your Dave Remington camp shirt?
I used to. I went when I was a kid.
Went to the Dave Remington
because
camp
I love going to camps.
Times.
Yes.
That's the right guy to be in that position.
He was a great center.
I was thinking Trev Alberts, but when you said Dave Remington, I was like, yes.
Right.
Because he's going to get it and he understands and he's had a lot of administrative experience.
We talked about Les Miles. They may go after Scott Frost, try to keep it in the family. I'm cool with that too.
But Dave Remington's going to get us a winning elite
Correct.
coach.
He knows what it takes to win, and the Huskers need it. So
all right, Husker Nation.
We're ready for some more college football. We'll keep you updated. We'll give our picks on Thursday going into this weekend. We're really excited. We want to say we appreciate your time, folks. We'll see you again. All right.